All right, so here's my scene. I'm going to go to the perspective view, click perspective view, and I've got something in there. Actually, I think I can take everything and put it on a layer and then make the layer invisible. How cool is that? Okay, so now I'm going to go to the view, default view, and then I'm going to go to the front view, and here's where we're all going to start paying attention. As I'm imagining my wine glass is already there. Well, actually, I'll just create one. Spacebar, create. This is what we did last week. Create. We're going to tear off the create sheet, pull it off to the side here. We're going to be creating CV curves, control vertex curves. And one of the important things, whether it was mentioned or not, but it is important, is that you snap to this middle line. And I'm going to turn on the snap tool for the snap to grid.
How do you find your wine glass again?
And then I'm going to click on these points here to draw out my bottom. And then the sides, what was the question? And then up, over, and then down. So here, notice I'm going to click, and I'm making that right on that edge right there. And then I'm going to spacebar, click, and go to perspective view. And then I'm going to choose to make this into a surface by spacebar clicking on surface, surfaces, and choose the revolve. And then with the 5 key, I can see it in shaded mode. So I'm going to come back to my front view and make the bottle. So spacebar, click, front view, and then I'm going to go to 4 wireframe, and then option right click, drag out. So I'm going to make my bottle by choosing control vertices, and then to so I'm going to turn the snap to grid off. I'm going to temporarily just snap to grid to start the inside of my bottle by holding the X key and then click. And then I'm making the interior of my bottle like this. The thing about this tool is you can't add points between points after the fact. So you have to be mindful of what you're drawing out. That's why it's always wise to pull in a two-dimensional, an image to use as reference so you know where your clicks are, or just do it and do it again. So now I'm going to start holding down the X key to turn on the snap tool. So I'm just going to put in a couple of points here. And what's important is this gap, these dots are right on that, flush on that line. So I'm going to hit return. Doesn't look much like a bottle quite yet. So let's go right click, edit vertices. Maybe if we drag these a bit taller. I'm going to get out of the, what have I got here? I've got the soft selection on. I want to turn that off. And then close that menu. I don't need soft selection on right now. And then W to move this, select to move, W, move these points up. Maybe pull them in a little bit to get our wine bottle shape. Okay, so I'm going to right click and go to object mode, and then I want to revolve this. So spacebar, surface, revolve. So it's not a perfect bottle, but for now I think it's going to get us to where we need to be. The next thing we'll do is we're going to make our table. Okay, so jump out to perspective view, And let's see what these look like next to each other in 5 mode. Okay, so now I'm going to create a table, and I'll place these bottle and glass on the table. So hold on. I'm going to go to the front view, and then I'm going to make my table. So here's the table. So these are all done the same way. So no matter if you're creating the glass, the bottle, or the table, they're all done from a profile curve, and then they're spun around using the revolve tool. So CV, here's the table top. So I'm going to lock that to the center by holding the X key. Oop. And then I'm going to make my table surface top out here. Notice I'm clicking and dragging. Clicking and dragging. So I'm not releasing right away, I'm clicking and dragging. And then this is the inside. Making a stylish, very, very fancy, very expensive table. Try to imagine this thing as being, here's the leg down here, and then I'm going to click up in here and then holding the X key to snap that to the grid, and then I'm going to hit the return key to complete and then frame it with the F key. And I'm going to close this. I'm done creating things. And now I can modify my shape to be a little bit more precise. Like Control vertex C, I want to snap this point by holding the X key down. And grab this one.
Do you have to have it on the axis? You need to lock it?
It needs to be locked at this axis right here. And I'll show you the reason why. Let's go to object mode and we'll revolve this.
What if you didn't lock it?
I'll show you. So let's take a look at this, and I'm going to revolve this now. Watch. Space bar, surfaces, revolve. There's our table. Let's push the table back just a little bit and grab this and see what happens if it's not at the center. See how there's a hole in it? There's a hole in the table. And there's a hole in the bottom as well. So that's you get that imperfection, and it wouldn't be a closed surface object. Okay, so there's the table, the bottle, and the glass. I'm going to take the bottle and poke it up, set it on the table, and the glass as well. And this will give us our complete scene.